and the early mid-2000s, when phones were getting ever smaller and discreet, until the chunky iPhone came along in 2007 to completely turn the industry on its head. Well, that's sort of what the Tesla Model 3 is here to do with the car. Not only does Elon Musk's brainchild want to show the world that long-range electric cars are today and not the future, but also completely reinvent the idea of how we see the car altogether. As it doesn't have to cool a conventional engine like the BMW 3 Series, Mercedes C-Class and Audi A4, the Tesla Model 3 electric car does away with anything so vulgar as a grille on its bumper. Instead, there's little more than a slim intake, a pair of fog lights and a number plate at the front. Things are a little more in line with normal cars elsewhere, though, with a rather undramatic side profile and a simplistic rear end. Opt for the range-topping performance model and your Model 3 gets lowered suspension, a subtle carbon fiber boot spoiler and jazzily named Uber Turbine 20-inch alloy wheels to make the car look lower, meaner and much more sporty. It's inside the car where the Tesla Model 3 is a real revolution, though. You can forget the supposed minimalist cabins the Audi A4 or Jaguar Z. The Tesla Model 3's interior is almost completely devoid of buttons, knobs or dials of any kind. Instead, you control pretty much everything through a whopping 15-inch touchscreen. It's a good thing, then, that the screen is easy to read, laid out rather sensibly and responds to your inputs just as quickly as a range-topping iPad does. The satellite navigation, based on Google Maps, it's incredibly easy to use and follow. The rest of the Tesla Model 3's cabin looks a bit plain by comparison, but at least it feels pretty solid now, which hasn't always been the case with Tesla cars. It's not quite as roomy as the likes of the new BMW 3 Series, particularly in the back, but the Tesla Model 3 comes with a vast panoramic glass roof that stretches all the way from the driver's headrests to the boot lid. It's a welcome addition, as it does a fantastic job of flooding the cabin with light. It doesn't do anything to boost the Tesla Model 3's boot space, though. There's room for about 6 suitcases and some soft bags, but plenty of petrol and diesel-powered alternatives are roomier still. It does beat its key alternative in the all-electric Polestar 2x100 liters though, and also has a little bit of extra storage in the front where internal combustion cars would have an engine. For nipping to the shops, you won't be too worried about range. But it's nice to know that the long-range model can manage around 360 miles between charges if you're being extra careful. Charging from empty takes around 12 hours using a dedicated wall charger at home, or you can boost the Model 3's batteries from 10% to 80% full in as little as 35 minutes using Tesla's 120 kW public charging points. Performance models lose out on a few miles of range, being able to cover 352 miles between chargers, but they're much faster. Accelerating from 0 to 60 miles per hour takes as little as 3.1 seconds compared with the 4.2 seconds of the long-range version, and the standard plus 5.3 seconds. This means it's quicker than pretty much any other premium saloon on sale, and many much pricier sports cars for that matter. It's even easier to drive on motorways, where the optional autopilot system lets the car pretty much drive itself, providing you keep your hands on the steering wheel. It'll accelerate, brake and steer for you to maintain a safe distance to other cars and will even change lane when you indicate. As good as it sounds, though, it will set you back an additional 6,800 pounds. In fact, the sheer number of passenger-impressing gizmos you get in the Model 3 makes the more expensive Model S seems a bit pointless to go for. It might be the baby of the Tesla range, but the Model 3's stylish looks, futuristic yet practical cabin and sports car baiting performance make it one of the best electric cars on sale and a genuine alternative to the posh saloon mainstream. For example, many have noticed that the VW Golf MK8 doesn't feel as premium as its MK7 predecessor, featuring cheaper and harder plastics, fewer soft-touch surfaces, and fewer felt-lined areas. Golfs traditionally used to feel more expensive than their price suggested, but now the MK8 Golf feels cheaper while being more expensive. Cost-cutting is a widespread phenomenon nowadays in the auto industry, and the chip crisis has only made things worse. Many cars are shipped without features like touchscreen displays, digital speedometers, automatic stop/start systems, active fuel management modules, and more. Even Tesla, a company that prides itself with having worked around the semiconductor shortages, has been shipping the Model 3 and Model Y without front passenger side lumbar support. Speaking of Tesla, one Model 3 owner from Connecticut claims the 22 mi's quality has dropped compared to the 21 mi. He's owned both a 2022 Model 3 Performance and a 2021 Model 3 Long Range, so he's been able to compare stuff like panel gaps and material quality. As a side note, he recently sold the 2021 Model 3 LR for $55,000 even though he bought it for $47,000 in March 2021, and this speaks volumes about the current state of the new and used car markets right now. Now, the video above starts by comparing the fit and finish on both cars, and it's pretty obvious that the newer car disappoints in this respect. There are visible panel gaps where the bumpers meet the fenders, whereas the 21 mi Model 3 has no such issues whatsoever. There are some interior niggles as well, including hard plastic at the bottom of the door panels. The 21 mi has a soft touch finish, and the fact that the driver's sun visor does not cling to the magnet and the center console armrest lid needs to be slammed to close. The owner has informed Tesla of these problems and the automaker has pledged to fix them, as it should. Mind you, these could be isolated issues, which is why we welcome owners of 2022 Model 3s to chime in and let everyone know whether they also noticed a drop in quality on their cars.